Happy Mother's Day. I know that a lot of the world celebrates it earlier in the year, but for us Americans, it's the second Sunday in May. My family is about to go off and do some bowling so that we can celebrate together. But I wanted to quickly share a book with you that I've loved my whole life and that I enjoy reading with my kids every year on Mother's Day, and that is Are You My Mother by P.D. Eastman. Philip Eastman worked at Walt Disney Studios doing animation and story production. In 1942, he was drafted into the Army and joined the Signal Corps Film Unit. This was the Army's film production unit, and they did everything from make training videos for new recruits to make funny cartoons that would lift the spirits during a time of war. It was headed up by a guy named Theodore Geisel, who you might know as Dr. Seuss. Geisel saw how talented Eastman was and became his mentor. The two would be colleagues for the rest of their careers. The thing that I love most about this book is that it gets into the most basic concern that a little child can have. Where's my mom? And I want to go home. It starts out with this mother bird on her egg, and then that's really fun for little kids because they like to see it jump, and you can ask them to act it out, and what's the bird doing in the egg? So the mother bird flies away to go get food for her baby, and then the baby hatches while she's gone. And every time I've read this book to a little kid, I can just see how instantly it hits them and how much they just comprehend what's going on. They think, oh my gosh, what if I woke up and my mother wasn't there? But the nice thing is, this little bird doesn't freak out. He stays really calm. He does do something a bit silly in that he decides to go out and look for her. He should just stay put in the nest. But then we can't have a story. So it's good that away he goes, and it's not easy for him. He falls down, but he looks for her and looks for her and looks for her. And then he meets all of these different animals and things, and it's fun because you get lots of chances to do voices like for the cow and the dog. I love that even when this bird gets incredibly frustrated and he's had no luck at all finding his mother, he says to himself, I did have a mother. I know I did. I have to find her. I will. I will. That kind of pluck is a great example for kids, and it can help them think about that if they ever do get in a situation where they find themselves on their own for a moment. Like you can think, well, what would the baby bird do? The baby bird would be brave, and the baby bird will get through it. And the baby bird does get through it. This book is also interesting because it shows the impact of modern civilization. You're not seeing like a perfect paradise. There's a broken down car that's just been discarded as junk with paint cans and empty soup cans just kind of littered. And then, you see pollution coming from a boat, and you see an airplane going ahead, which is, noisy and big, and it doesn't stop and it doesn't care about him. So it's interesting because this book came out in, I believe, 1961, if I remember correctly. And this is a time when you definitely were starting to see the impact of modern technology and pollution on the environment. And then the bird runs into a big thing, which he ends up calling a snort. And this is like a fancy bulldozer type contraption with a scoop on it. And it is scooping up the earth and pumping smoke into the air. You would assume that something like this would be really hostile to this baby bird. But I love that in the end, it turns out that whoever's driving this thing has a lot of compassion. The snort could ignore the baby bird. The snort could hurt the baby bird, but instead it scoops up the baby bird and puts it back in the nest, which is a very subtle but really, really hopeful message that maybe all this modern technology and all this change can coexist with nature. I just find that a very sweet, subtle theme. It's not something I ever picked up on as a kid, but I definitely see it now that I'm an adult reading it to children. And I know that both of my girls love this book. My little one is 4, so she still asks for it a lot. And, that means that my 10-year-old can give herself permission to join in and read it, even though it's maybe not something she would pick for herself. Have you ever read Are You My Mother? Did this book mean a lot to you when you were a little kid? And have you found new things in it as an adult when you've read it to children? Happy Mother's Day, and I hope all of you have a nice day off.